Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to get into a little bit of a discussion about the Mandela Effect and the latest information coming out of the camp from CERN. Earlier this month, there was a group in South Africa that discovered a new particle, and that particle was named the Madala Boson. As most of you guys will know, I actually discovered the Higgs boson in 2012, supposedly. And now they have a new particle discovery, and they have labeled this one as the Madala. So it's pretty interesting, the choice of words there for the new particle. You know, we've been looking at certain changes, aspects that we feel are different about our current reality, and whether or not we're dealing with false memory and all these things that we've been talking about over the past several months. And it would appear that the folks at CERN and those connected are pretty much aware of that situation. I think that plays into the choice of the name that they chose for the new particle. And so that's part of what we're going to look at through this video. So this article here, I'll leave a link to it, outlines that new discovery and goes into detail exactly about the particle. CERN continues to believe that there are other particles to be discovered, and they continue to do their research. I had mentioned in one of my videos earlier that it's kind of puzzling, you know, if you found this God particle and you've told everyone, at least as I understand it, that it was supposed to provide really the perfect explanation for the universe and the world as we know it. Why was this not, you know, like a truly earth-shattering discovery, and, you know, God is put away now and we have an explanation for everything? You know, why the continued exploration? And there's an article that was released recently, and this is talking about the reason and the push behind why physicists want to, at CERN, want to continue to do research and want to continue to find new particles. And basically, this article talks about they're reaching a certain point where they believe that they have enough information to provide an explanation for, I think, the fundamental model that they have, but there's missing data. And a lot of that missing data is connected to dark matter. The Madala Boson, I think, would be an example of maybe more of an indication that dark matter potentially exists, at least as they see it. But this article talks about how they're reaching a point where if these new discoveries are not made, then they may have reached the extent of what we are able to fully understand as mankind. So if we have continued discoveries, then we know that there are still things to learn, and still things that we are capable of learning. However, if we reach a point where we are no longer making these discoveries, then perhaps we reach the fullest of what we can do with what we understand. You know, with a little bit of thought to that, that could be one of the reasons why we see the connections to the D-Wave computers. But getting back to the connections here that I'm going to take a look at as far as the wordplay, which leads me to believe that the folks at CERN are totally aware of the Mandela Effect, as it's been called. The word Madala that they've chosen to use, it's really, really close to Mandala, or I guess it could be pronounced Mandala, which is, you know, would be a pronunciation that's very, very close. But according to Wikipedia, as you can see, the spelling of this word compared to the spelling of this one here from this article, it says, is a spiritual and ritual symbol in Indian religions representing the universe. In common use, mandala has become a generic term for any diagram, chart, or geometric pattern that represents the cosmos, metaphysically or symbolically, a microcosm of the universe. So, probably a coincidence that they used such, close wording to their new discovery with that explanation. But you can take a look here towards the right and see a depiction. And I've got a couple of more that I found online. This one here. And again, this is the a depiction of the universe. And then there's this one. As mentioned there on Wikipedia, a lot of these are connected to the Indian religions, and we know that there is also a connection there between the Indian religions, so to speak, and CERN, in terms of India's gift to CERN and the statue of Shiva. And you can also find different mandalas that depict Shiva, again, that also being a depiction of the universe. And here would be another one as well. And so we've got that connection there. The wordplay really close to Mandela. I don't think there's any kind of coincidence there. I think that's done. And I think it just points to one of the things I was saying in another video about the psychological aspects of the Mandela Effect. In some situations there appear to have been changes to physical reality, which is really the major puzzling part. They got changes to your physical reality. If you're stopping short of that, then it's a little bit easier to explain. And that would be leaning more towards a total Psyop. And so I believe that that is a major part of it. Some of these things that have been altered, that are a little bit different from what we would recall. Some of them are just blatant. There's really no denying that they've been manipulated. There's been other people who have shown what's been referred to as reality residue, pointing back to different things. And another thing that becomes interesting to me is that as I continue to do research on this subject and continue to look at different things, my Mandela Effect videos keep pulling more and more towards CERN, and the use of D-Wave computers. And I'm gonna I'll be putting out another video, hopefully within the next day or so, talking about some new information connected to the owner of the creator of the D-Wave computer, and some expanding and things that are going on there, just to keep you guys informed about that. But the changes to physical reality, that's something that really is difficult to explain. But on the other side, when you're looking at the discovery of new particles, the specific desire to locate new particles, naming those new particles with all these, close connections to other things that connect to the universe, and then again, in a full circle back to Shiva. Come on, man. So, coincidence, sure, I guess so, but let's be realistic about it. I think they know what's going on here. And so, the Psyop portion. But again, if you're looking at changes in physical reality, then that makes it a whole different ball game. And that's where I think you've got to get back to, D-Wave and maybe some other explanations. But I just wanted to take a moment to kind of show those things to you guys. I know that information came out a little bit earlier this month about the discovery. To go back to what I was saying earlier, the discovery of the God particle, as they call it, in 2012, and the continued exploration into the universe afterwards, you know, I mentioned previously in a different video that, you know, they're talking about different dimensions. You know, personally, you know, do those things exist? It's possible. Are they there? I don't think so. I don't think they are. I think it's completely bogus. I think it's total. I think it's total bull. I really, really do. I think it's all for setting up this same type of, you know, mind control and preparation, basically, for this digital framework, this AI framework. And, you know, again, in the information I'll be putting together coming up next is going to outline, you know, just that connection there. So I think that's what it's really tied to. You know, are there versus, you know, maybe. Do they have the capability of going there? Maybe. Do I believe they are? No. Where I believe they are is somewhere, you know, it is outside of what we would think of in terms of, you know, the physical world. But I think it has more of a spiritual side to it. And so I don't think they're in some other earth where there's other people who are like us that split off from different decisions and they're pulling out information from there. I think they're going into a specific location. I think the information that they're getting there can be varied and manipulated. And I think that they're going to continue to do different things like this. They're going to continue to leave little hints and bits of pieces of information. Because if you understand the whole idea and the mindset here when you're looking at the conspiracy theory in general in terms of the New World Order and those kind of things that you would see happening, those things all tie together in the end. They're all working for the same conclusion. And a lot of what they like to do is to basically put the truth in plain sight. You know, they leave hints, they leave information for people who are smart enough to figure it out, you know. And, you know, I don't think it's, you know, similar to Mandela. You've still got this connection here and ultimately a connection to, you know, the universe. And then again, seeing this same type of thing that circles all the way back around to Shiva, and then Shiva's connection to CERN. So, I mean, you know, to me, it just kind of comes full circle. I think these guys, at least, you know, if they're not directly behind the cause of it, they at least know what's going on. They're at least aware of it, and they're going to continue to play at least into the psychological aspect of that situation there. So, you know, this picture, I don't know if this is actually the one that's outside there or not. I don't know, it could be one from somewhere else, but that is the statue of Shiva, so that is present there at CERN. But again, there's just my thoughts on that, what I think is going on in terms of that most recent discovery. So, you know, just like I said before, expect to continue to see things to change, expect other people to deny that those changes are taking place. I think they will become bigger and more blatant. When we see those that are really, really, truly manifesting, you know, for all, you know, everyone who's been affected in a physical reality, you know, that's going to be something that will be further confirmation, you know, that what we're dealing with has more to do with something that's sinister as opposed to just some type of, you know, shift in consciousness or some type of awakening. So if you guys have any, you know, direct experiences with changes to the physical reality, I know that you know, the vehicles and those kind of things seem to be different as well. So if you guys have experiences with those, you know, leave that in the comments, and I'll try to take a look at those and kind of analyze that information and see if we can continue to put some things together. But I think there's a connection to the video that I'll put out next. Again, it circles around kind of back to D-Wave and where they are moving. Where the creator there is moving in terms of his technology and where they're putting their focus. All right, so that's going to close us out for today. But again, you know, take a look at this information. I'll leave links to those articles. Again, you know, decide for yourself. Do you think that there's an intentional wordplay here, an intentional similarity on you know, different levels? All right, so that's it for now.